Good evening. My name is Dave Hansen. I'm the chairman for the MIT Enterprise Forum of Texas. On behalf of the MIT Enterprise Forum, the Society of Plastics Engineers, and the Houston Technology Center, I want to welcome you all here tonight to what I think you'll find is a very, very informative program. We have a Dr. William Radasky, who's a world-class technical expert on electromagnetic radiation, high-intensity radiation that can affect the electrical grid and electrical devices. We have Bob Hall, Texas State Senator Bob Hall from the District Number 2, who is campaigning to harden the Texas electrical grid against things like EMPs, whether it's from solar storms or it's from nuclear blast or it's from devices that can generate EMP device radiation. And so I think that you're going to be very well informed of what we're going to hear tonight. You probably are going to end up being a little bit shocked about what you're going to hear. I know for myself, when I first... The what?
No pun intended.
Yeah, no pun intended. When I first heard about this topic from David Becker, who's really the instigator for this program, we had lunch together after he'd been to an InfraGard meeting where Ron Jacobus, who's an aide for Bob Hall, came and talked to InfraGard about the threat of either severe solar storms or a high altitude nuclear blast. And Dave came back, we had lunch, and he was telling me about this, and I said, "Are you sure? I've never heard about this threat. It's not on my radar screen." But the more we talked about it and the more I started reading the internet, the more I became just absolutely alarmed about this devastation of what can happen from either a high altitude nuclear blast, or a severe solar storm, or a device a local device in a suitcase that can generate an EMP blast. And so I think that you are going to be amazed. And I hope that you go back tonight and tell some of your friends about this, because it's something that our society doesn't really know about. And it's going to take the public asking for action. And I really commend Bob Hall and what he's doing to try and campaign and strengthen the electrical grid.
Right.
Yes, Stephen.
Because of that, do you think we can all have one more ticket for a drink after the presentation? Just promise that.
Yeah.
Just one more.
Yeah, you're on.
Okay, here we go. Just a thought.
Yep, just a thought. Before we get started, many of you are new here, and I'd like to tell you a little about the MIT Enterprise Forum, because we have great programs like we have here tonight. And I want to spend just a little bit of time telling you about what we do, what we are. The MIT Enterprise Forum is a nonprofit, all-volunteer organization that's associated with MIT in Cambridge. That's the university, MIT, and MIT Technology Review magazine. We're one of 21 worldwide chapters. It was started by MIT alums, and the principle was to give back to the local communities and talk about technology and talk about entrepreneurship and really foster that. I found that it's a great organization to be involved with. It's a very worthwhile organization. And so here in Houston, what we try and do is create great programs like this flagship program here tonight. We also do new venture clinics with startup companies, and we have startup companies come and present their technology, their business presentation. They give their business presentation they're going to use for getting money from investors, and we help polish their presentations so they have a better chance of being successful when they go out. The last thing we do is we have networking socials. We typically have about 100 people coming to our networking socials. We have a very interesting group of people, just like you have here tonight, that you'll really enjoy talking with. Now, I said that it was started by MIT alums, but you don't need to be an MIT alum to be part of our organization or come to our events. And I'm a good example. I never went to MIT.
Go Bears.
Go Bears. I went to Berkeley. Yeah. And we look for volunteers who are interested in participating with our organization. So we do have a lot of MIT alums that are involved, and you'll see a lot of MIT alums in the audience here tonight. But if you're interested in getting involved with us, I'd really like to talk with you. And you know, programs like this are interesting to you and stimulating, and you'd like to give back to the community, please talk with us. All right, I want to talk a little bit about some of the upcoming events. This is an old slide, so we just finished our program in the Future of Fresh Water we had at the Hess Club. Very successful, very interesting in what's going on both in business and academia and also as far as what's going on in the world as far as fresh water is concerned and the challenges that are out there. Tonight we have our program on the EMP threat, and EMP stands for electromagnetic pulse. But I like to think of that in terms of severe solar storms or high altitude nuclear blast or an EMP type of device. In January, we have a business forecast luncheon at the Federal Reserve. This is a very popular program that we have every year. We've sold it out for the last 4 years. We have John Duca as the Vice President from the Federal Reserve come speak, and a senior economist from Compass Bank come speak. And it's very informative. And there are a number of people in the audience that see you're nodding your heads and you say, yes, I come every time, and I would highly recommend that we sell it out. So if you're interested in that, please sign up early. The other program we're working on here is a program on innovations in education with the Baker Institute. And we've got Bunny Dunbar, who's a former astronaut, and Rod Page, who's a former education secretary under Bush, who will be speakers. And we're in the process of putting that together right now, but we'll have it at the Baker Institute. There is a possibility we'll also record that for TV and broadcast that. We're talking with Channel A about that, but we're still working out the logistics on that. So we have some great programs coming up, and you can see down at the bottom of the slide there, we have other programs that we're looking at for the future on cybersecurity, the second machine age, which is really artificial intelligence, SETI, which is going out, communicating, or listening, actually. We don't want to broadcast, but listening for alien signals from abroad. And there's a professor at Berkeley's actually doing a lot of work in this area, and we're hoping to get a Berkeley professor to come and talk about that. So the programs that you'll see in our flagship events are world-class, and these are some of the events that we've recorded in the past on video like we're doing tonight. And I would, if you haven't looked at some of these videos on our website, I would highly suggest that you might want to consider that. We've had Rod Canyon come in and talk about starting Compact Computer and growing that. Compact Computer was one of the fastest growing companies in the world, and it was here in Houston. And to hear Rod talk about it and what they did was absolutely amazing. And Rod said the interview that he had with Russ Capper that we did at the MIT Enterprise Forum was the best interview that he's ever done on Compact Computer. So if you want to see the story and hear the story, very inspiring. We've had Donald Sadoway from MIT come and talk about liquid metal batteries and what he's doing there. Very inspiring. That's actually our most popular video on YouTube. We've gotten over 16,000 views on YouTube for that. He is inspiring, he's funny, he's informative, and I can't highly recommend that video enough. And the other one that, well, all of them are really great. We had one that was actually recorded and broadcast on TV on social entrepreneurship. We've done shale gas fracking. We've done a program on detecting and deflecting asteroids on a collision course with Earth with Rusty Schweiger and Ed Lu, who are former astronauts. And what they're doing is very inspiring to try and improve our capability for seeing asteroids out there in space and developing strategies and technology for deflecting them. They've been doing this for 15 years. And you've probably heard about Meteor Day. That's because of what they're doing. But to hear their story, again, for high school students, I think that is inspiring from a technology standpoint, but also giving back to society and doing something that I think is important. So at any rate, I highly recommend that you take a look at some of our past videos, and this video here tonight will also be included here for the future. Now, we couldn't do this without our sponsors. I can't say thank you enough. It does take money to put together all this and do the administration and do videos and stuff like that. So sponsors are important for us to be able to do these things. So I'd like to say thank you to Westlake, to the Houston Business Journal, Compass Bank, Farnsworth and Von Berg, and Fran Von Berg is here tonight. She's part of our MIT Enterprise Forum. She's our vice chairman as well as one of our key sponsors. Halloran Advertising, the Business Maker radio show. Rush Capper was here interviewing our speakers here tonight, and we'll be broadcasting his interview next Wednesday, I believe. Brandon, the MIT Club, they've been very supportive in helping advertise what we do, and you'll see some MIT Club members here tonight. Joe Garman, who does some photography for us, and the Houston Technology Center. The Houston Technology Center not only is providing facilities here tonight, but we have virtually all of our new venture clinics here at the Houston Technology Center. So thank you to the Houston Technology Center for making all this possible. Now, if you don't see your name up here, I want you to think about, particularly after you see the program here tonight, I want you to think about whether it's worth your money to sponsor programs like this and be giving back to the Houston community. We put together some absolutely great programs, and we'd love to have you be part of our family and giving back to the Houston community. Okay. Before I bring Dave Becker up here, who's really the key instigator for this program, I want to give you a little bit of background about this. The electrical grid is vulnerable to a lot of things. It's vulnerable to cybersecurity. It's vulnerable to actually terrorists striking various parts of it. In fact, you only would have to take out 9 major substations to crater the whole grid. You'd only have to take out 9 major substations to crater the whole grid. Or you could do it with one nuclear blast and not only take out those substations, but computers and everything else. So there are a lot of threats to the electrical grid that I think that have to be considered today. What we're going to be taking a look at is really the electromagnetic threat to the grid, because it is probably the most comprehensive and can do the most damage, not only to the electrical grid, but it can take out every kind of control device, electrical device. It can take out cars and the microchips in the cars and you name it. So I think that what you're going to hear about the electrical grid applies much broader than that. And we're going to be focusing on the electromagnetic pulse threat to the electrical grid. You see a little picture down here. This is made by Boeing. It looks like a cruise missile. It is actually built to go around and create repetitive EMP blast in the microwave, high-intensity microwave energy, and take out electrical devices. So the military actually has weapons that create electromagnetic pulses, as probably do Russia and a lot of our other players around the world. So the technology for making these electromagnetic pulses exists, and it can exist in small scales from suitcases to like cruise missiles to nuclear bombs. So with that, I would like to bring up David Becker. David is involved with the Houston Technology Center. He's an energy advisor here. He also is involved with InfraGard. He's involved with the MIT Enterprise Forum as a new venture, or MIT New Venture Clinic advisor for us. He's a PhD geophysicist, so he knows this technology. And I'd like to welcome Dave to come up and introduce our speakers.
Just enough technology that the PC stuff should hopefully work. Okay, so it's kind of funny, right? I was trying to put together the intro for these guys, and it took both of them 2 pages each. Okay, these guys are very experienced guys, so you guys are going to learn a lot today. So first, we're going to start with Dr. Bill Radowski. Okay, he's right now the president, managing engineer for MITEF Corp. And they have offices in New Mexico and California. In 1968 is when he kind of began his career in research as an officer in the U.S. Air Force. Both these guys are U.S. Air Force. So they should have crossed paths, but they didn't, it seems like, but they finally did now, okay? And so he was there trying to establish the threat level of high altitude electromagnetic pulses. And you're gonna see the same thing too from Bob, okay? And those are called HEMPs. HEMPs. You're going to need to learn some 3-letter and 4-letter acronyms here tonight, you know. So that's one of them, HEMP, and it's not what California just legalized. It's high energy, okay. I guess that could be high energy too. In '92, he was involved in the development of the commercial electromagnetic compatibility standards. So Bill's been involved in a lot of setting the standards, and it's really important if you guys in technology understand, you got to have those standards so that when people come up with technology, it all works together, okay? And so he did that with that. This is another one, International Electromagnetic Commission, IEC, okay? And they're based in Geneva. And he started doing that with high altitude EM pulses. That's continuing on with the HEMP. Okay, and then high-powered electromagnetic weapons, which create interference, okay, in the field. And Hollywood's made some movies about that kind of stuff, right? And then he's in 1992 to 2016, he was chairman of IEC's, I guess SC is special subcommittee, okay. 77C, it was EMC, high-power transient phenomena, okay. So we've talked before, he's done a lot of work with the modeling and getting the physics down right so we understand things. And then he's also, from 96 to 2008, the chairman of IEC's advisory committee on EMC, okay? And he was doing a lot of things here at the same time, you'll notice. From 2001 to 2008, he's also the program manager at MITEF, and part of his responsibility was determine the threat level, okay, to the U.S. power systems from HEMP, high altitude electromagnetic pulses. In 2004, he was awarded the Lord Kelvin Medal in Seoul, South Korea, by the IEC for exceptional service in the development of international standards. Again, everyone's got to talk the same language, right? That way it all works. So that's page 1. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Okay, 2014, he was convener of SIGRE, the Working Group Protection on High Voltage Power Stations. Okay, and I think that's a French organization, right?
That's French acronym.
Yeah, okay. 100,000 members, okay. And then in 15, not too long ago, last year, he led the publication of the IEEE Standard 1642 for the protection of publicly accessible computers from the threat of induced or weapons, interference, electromagnetic interference. At 16 this year, he's currently the co-convener of the new Sergei working group dealing with the evaluation of the geomagnetic field. Okay, so he's gone to nuke and now super nuke the sun, right? To look at field disturbances on high voltage power grids. Now that's HVDC or that's AC? It's both, okay. Because high voltage DC is starting to come up now too, so we have to consider that as well. He's a registered professional engineer in California as a EE electrical engineer. He's a life fellow of the IEEE, so he doesn't have to pay dues now anymore. Okay. That's the plus there. But he's in Tau Beta Pi and Eta Kappa Nu honor societies, and he was selected there too as an EMP fellow. That was in 1988. He published close to about 500 papers, like 497 or something, right? You have to do a few more, man, get a nice round number. Geophysicists like round numbers. Okay. Okay. He's a holder of the 2 best paper awards in 1973 at a conference and 1984 at the Hart Conference. He's a guest editor for the August 2004 IEEE EMC Transactions special issue on intentional, the weapons basically, EMI, and high power EM. And he serves as the chairman of TC5, which is the high power electromagnetics for the IEEE EMC Society. So he knows what he's talking about, so we should listen. Bob too, and we'll get to him. So you guys, I don't want to get in a contest. I'm sick of contests at this point, okay? There's no more contests for a while.